Hello guys, we are discussing chapter 2 atomic structure and I am Vishali Kikar. So let's start our discussion with the definition of the atoms. What are the atoms? Atoms are the negatively charged electrons. We know electrons are the negatively charged particles which are orbiting around the central positively charged nucleus. Now we will be having nucleus at the center around which electrons are orbiting, and this nucleus is made up of protons which are positively charged, and this is giving the positive charge to the nucleus, and it will be having the neutrons except the protons, right? So neutrons are uncharged particles. Hydrogen atoms will not be containing neutrons. Only hydrogen atom is the atom in which the nucleus will containing only protons and it will not contain any neutron. Coming to the isotope. What are the isotopes? Isotopes are the different atoms of the same element with different mass number, right? If I see the nucleus, both of the isotopes will be having same number of protons but different number of neutrons. So different number of neutrons is going to give me the different mass number for the given atom, right? So for that we will be having different isotopes. So we will be having the same chemical properties of the different isotopes because the number of protons are same but the different physical properties. So let's start with the discussion of the question, which states lithium has two naturally occurring isotopes, that is 6 lithium which is having the natural abundance 7% and 7 lithium which is having natural abundance 93%. Calculate the relative atomic mass of the lithium. To find out the relative atomic mass, we consider that we have 100 lithium atom, and when I have 100 lithium atom, 7 of these lithium atom will be having mass 6 and 93 atoms will be having mass 7. So now we have to find out the average mass. We will be having 7 atoms with 6 mass, so 7 into 6 plus 93 with the 7 mass. So 93 into 7 divided by 100, so we will be getting 6.73 as the average mass. Coming to the question number 2, which states iridium has a relative atomic mass of 192.22 and it consists of iridium 191 and iridium 193 isotopes. Calculate the percentage composition of the naturally occurring samples of the iridium. So if I have 100 atoms, I will be considering X atom will be having 191 mass and 100 minus X atom will be having 193 mass. Okay, so here what is given? Opposite is given, right? So average mass is given which is 192.22. Okay, and we consider X will be having 191 mass. So the total mass will be equal to 191 into X plus 193 into 100 minus X. Okay, so because 193 mass is for 100 minus X atoms, so 100 minus X atoms will be having total mass 193 into 100 minus X. Total overall mass will be 191X plus 193 100 minus X. And what would be the average mass? Because we have considered 100 atoms, 191X plus 193 100 minus X upon 100 will be my average mass. Now average mass is given in the question, it is 192.22, so 191X plus 193 100 minus X upon 100 is 192.22. Now we can solve this. We can take 100 this side and we will be having 191X plus 193 100 minus X to be equal to 19222. Okay, so similarly I can solve this equation and I will be getting X is equal to 39 minus 2X will be equal to 19222 minus 19300 and minus 2X will be equal to minus 78, X is equal to 39. So 39% of iridium will be having 191 mass and 100 minus 31. So 100 minus 31% is equal to 61% will be having the mass 193, right? So this is how we can represent the different masses and the number of atoms containing different masses or the percentage composition. Coming to the next topic, that is the electromagnetic spectrum. So what is the electromagnetic spectrum? We will be having different radiations, we will be having different frequency and the wavelength. First we will be having radio wave, then microwave, infrared wave, visible, UV, X-ray and gamma rays. So these are the different waves which are differentiated based upon the frequency. If I move from radio to gamma rays, we are increasing the frequency. But if I am moving from gamma to radio, we are increasing the wavelength, right? So now coming to the formation of emission spectrum, how the emission spectrum is formed. Now this is the atom in which this is the nucleus, this is the electron. Now electron is present in the lowest energy level, which is the ground level, right? So this is the ground level over here, and this state is having the energy E1. Okay, now what I am doing, I am supplying the energy through the gas discharge, right? So when I supply the energy through the gas discharge, this electron will be having some additional energy. This additional energy will make electron move up to the energy state E2. This is the excited energy state, and electron is moving to the higher energy state, which is the unstable energy state, because the electron is not belonging to this energy state. So electron will move to the higher energy state, which is the excited state, and because this is the unstable state, electron will now come back to this parent state, that is the ground state, with having energy E1. So from energy E2, electron is now moving to the energy E1, and while it is doing so, it is emitting out a photon which is having the energy equal to E2 minus E1. And in this manner, we will be having the photons emitted, and each line in the spectrum comes out from the transition of electron from higher to the lower energy level. The difference between the energy level is going to tell me which wave is going to come out with which frequency. So okay, in the electromagnetic spectrum, whichever wave is coming, it depends upon this E2 minus E1. Coming to the full electron configuration. Now if I talk about the electrons around the nucleus are going to occupy the energy levels. Now some of the electrons are going to occupy the full energy levels, but there are some electrons which are going to occupy the sub-energy levels with the mean energy level as well. So what are the mean energy levels? The mean energy level would be the energy level 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so now these are the 4 main energy levels that we have. Right, we can have energy level 5, 6, 7 as well, but we are restricting our discussion to the 4 energy level. Then we can have the sub-energy levels as well. So for the 1 main energy level, we have 1s sub-level. For 2 energy level, we have 2s and 2p. For 3, we have 3s, 3p and 3d. For 4, we have 4s, 4p, 4d and 4f. And we will be having different number of electrons in the sub-levels as well. If I talk about S sub-level, in all of the S levels, we have only 2 electrons. In P sub-level, we will be having 6 electrons. The maximum number of electrons the P sub-level can occupy is 6. Similarly, the D can occupy 10 electrons. And F can occupy the 14 electrons. So this is how I can classify the full electronic configurations. So I hope you understood all of the things that I have discussed. Thank you so much.